If you're new to flower gardening, or quite honestly, if you're fed up of planting the same plants each year to get your cut flowers, then this video is going to save you so much time and money and will simplify your flower gardening life. What if I told you the secret to easy flower gardening isn't working harder, but it's simply choosing plants that do the work for you? And what I'm suggesting is consider perennials rather than annuals. Annuals need to be sown every year. They will not flower again the next season. They may self-seed, but those same plants won't flower again. Whereas perennials will keep coming back year after year without you putting in any effort. When people recommend cut flowers, they normally are thinking of the usuals: roses, peonies, dahlias, and they are all stunning, and I would not suggest don't plant them. But the ones that I'm going to include in this video are a little bit more unusual, a little bit more productive, but a little bit less effort as well. I like plants that get on with things without needing constant attention. For me, that makes the gardening much more enjoyable, and I can focus on what really matters rather than getting overwhelmed with what plant needs cared for next. All of the plants I'm suggesting are herbaceous perennials, which means that they grow during the growing season, produce their flowers and slowly die back over winter, only for them to regrow again the following growing season. You may need to clear out the old leaves, but you can leave them in place and it will do the plants no harm. Once they're happy where they're living, then they will come back bigger and stronger year on year. Bigger plants, more stems, more flowers. What's not to love? Which means the garden starts giving you more each year without you having to do anything to assist. So let's dive in. So onto the perennials that you can add into a cut flower garden to make your flower gardening easier. The first is iris. There's many types of iris, but two main ones that I would suggest for cut flowers. One is the bearded and one is the Siberian. The bearded is a lot more elegant and bigger, I think, from what I can tell when I compare the two together. However, for the same amount of space that the bearded iris take up, the Siberian probably doubles or triples the number of flower heads that you get. So it's the easiest plant to grow without any special conditions, whereas the bearded iris thrives in full sun, and it likes the rhizomes to be baked in the sunshine over the summer. So if you can't provide those conditions for a bearded iris, then you're going to really struggle to get the best out of it. In which case, Siberian is most definitely the one for you. The flowers are beautiful and elegant. They are unusual, so putting those in a flower arrangement makes it much more of a wow. And the strong straight stems really assist with any flower arrangement. The next plant I would recommend is lupins. They're just starting to show up now in early spring, and they are fabulous for spikes in flower arrangements. These particular lupins are grown from seed. They flower in their second year after seed, and the variety I used, which I can't quite remember the name, I need to look at the seed catalogue and see what it is, but they seem to flower throughout the whole of the summer season. So I can have flowers from June through to August, September. Lupins are fairly easy to grow. They, as I say, these ones were grown from seed. The only thing that might cause you a problem is green fly and maybe slugs. So they're pretty good all-rounders, I would say. Floral spikes in a flower arrangement is really handy to have because it just adds a difference so it doesn't look too samey. So lupins provide that. They also provide a certain amount of creativity in that they have a tendency to bend towards the light if left to their own devices. So if you really want them to be straight, then you need to wrap them in like a brown paper wrap initially while they're being conditioned so they don't start deforming and creating their own shapes before you're ready for them. The next plants, perennials, that I have on my list is Alliums. Now they're a bulb, and so I always find bulbs really easy to grow because you just plant them and leave them. So Alliums are really striking in a border. They also make brilliant cut flowers, and they are so dramatic, the pink round heads in a flower arrangement. As you can imagine, they look fantastic in a garden, so they're going to look spectacular in a flower arrangement. They are super easy to grow and they multiply year after year, and there are many different varieties. So yes, there are the round globe heads, but there are some wacky ones out there that are different shapes and sizes, and you can get different varieties that will elongate the season. So in this bed here we have, and this is where I'm going to become a cropper with the names, we have Purple Sensation, which I think is the first one to flower. It's quite a cool purple colour, which tends not to blend well with many of the other colours that I have, that I grow cut flowers for. However, I dry those seed heads and they make brilliant use afterwards as dried seed heads. I have another variety which is more of a warmer or deeper maroon type colour, burgundy colour. It's not quite as spherical, the head, so it's got a bit more interest and it's unusual. That's the next one to flower. And then the final one is a really small headed flower that has lime green going up into burgundy in it. They are cheap as chips to buy, these particular bulbs. The name again escapes me and I wouldn't be able to pronounce it even if I could remember it. But they are fantastic. You can buy 100 bulbs for the cost of maybe 25 of the bigger heads. And these are, whilst perhaps in a floral arrangement not so obvious, they do add a certain something. So they're probably more filler than focal, but they're fantastic. And because you can have so many of them, they're just a brilliant flower to have in. At the moment, they're not yet showing, but as I say, I do nothing with them. And even the seed heads are beautiful. The next flower that I would have on my list that are super easy to grow are Phlox. Not the annual type, but the perennial type. They are quite tall flowers with quite big flower heads. But they last a long time in flower arrangements. It's a perennial that will grow, in my opinion, anywhere. It just adds a bit of impact. Other than trimming it back in autumn or spring, I leave it till spring, that is all you need to do. You can lengthen the flowering season by doing a Chelsea chop, which is around about mid-May. Cut back the growing stems, or half of the growing stems, and you get some flowering when they would naturally want to, and then the remaining stems are perhaps retarded for about another couple of weeks, so you can get a slightly longer overlap. They smell divine in an evening, so my garden always smells wonderful in summer, and it's mainly due to the phlox. So definitely it's a one to try if you want to make flower gardening easier. The next perennial that I've added into my list is actually probably a short-lived perennial, which shouldn't really have made it in, but it's such a useful flower. It grows from seed and flowers in that first year of seed, and we are talking about Achillea or Yarrow. I use Achillea colorado version, and it has lots of deep raspberries to pale pinks and everything in between, and a few yellows and creams thrown in. By the third year, the colours are starting to fade a little bit. However, because you can grow them from seed without any problem, and they also have a tendency to self-sow a little bit, then there always seems to be a plentiful supply. So I would actively encourage you to grow Achillea. And they seem, from my experience, to grow anywhere. They're pretty drought tolerant, and they just thrive. The flower heads are filler flowers in a flower arrangement, not necessarily focal, but they just add something else. They blend everything together so well that it just makes your arrangements look that much more special than without them. So Achillea definitely has my big thumbs up, even though people will say it's a short-lived perennial. I wouldn't be without it in my flower gardening world. And the final perennial is Crocosmia. Now this is a bit of a funny one, or unusual one, should I say. I love Crocosmia. If it finds a spot, it will flourish. But the flower heads are fantastic and unusual, a bit like iris. You don't see them in flower arrangements every day, yet they are fantastic. They've got good strong stems, and they are happy to live in a vase as well as outside of a vase. They also have the added advantage that once they've gone over, the stems remain strong and the seed heads look fantastic. They produce so many flowers that why wouldn't you want them? They're just something special. The only potential issue I find is that the leaf blades are really quite tough, and so when they start to go over, then they form a very heavy carpet on the soil or plants underneath it. So I'm not so bothered about the soil being covered over winter with these leaves, but plants you may want to clear a way through so they don't get smothered. But other than that, they're fantastic. Definitely worthy of being in my top list for cut flowers. The thing I love about perennials is that once they're settled in, the garden begins to feel so much more generous. You're not constantly sowing, replanting, starting again. Instead, the plants simply return and do their thing each year and slowly build into something more fuller and more abundant, which means cutting flowers for the house is so much easier. There's more flowers, so you won't feel so precious about wanting to leave them in the garden. You'll be happy to pick them. And this makes it so much easier. One of the lovely things about building a garden with perennials, that it starts to feel so much more generous over time. So now you've got my favourite perennials to grow for cut flowers that come back year after year without any fuss. But here's the thing, some of the most stunning cut flowers are not actually perennial. They're annuals, but they are self-seeders. They drop their own seeds, and next spring new plants appear completely free with no effort from you. In my next video, I'll be sharing my favourite self-seeding annuals that will fill your garden for nothing. I'll put the link right here in the description below. Until next time, happy gardening.